First on the agenda, I'm going to ask Mr. Glover, if he will, lead us in prayer.
Bow your heads. Dear Father, thank you again for allowing us all to come together. Be with us as we make the best decisions for the children here today, dear Father. Be with all our teachers and our students that are out for summer. Keep them all safe and secure, dear Father. Be with all of those that, the families that was in the bad wreck here in Elmwood, dear Father, that you may help heal them and keep them in your heart, dear Father. Be with the Cleghorn family and may heal them, dear Father. Most importantly, dear Father, I want to thank you for letting your Son down the cross for our sins. In your good name, amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. Got one board member that's absent, Mr. Apple. And I guess we'll start with the consent items. I hope everyone's had a chance to look over their board packets. Let's see here. If there is no objections, I'd like to have a motion to approve these consent items.
So moved. Second.
And Mr. Jones second. Some of this has to deal with money, so I believe you might want to do a roll call on that one. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Apple is absent. Mr. McCallum?
Which one, what did you say, what's this on?
Consent items.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Glover?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Except yes. Superintendent's actions. Guess you've all had a chance to look at that also. Any questions before I go on? If not, we're going to go to new business. Policy amendment 6.313 code and conduct. 6.3131 code of conduct 7 through 12. First one was K through 6. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Manning. Second. Mr. Glover, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Second thing on the agenda is our workers' compensation insurance. I guess you've all had a chance to look this over. Had several different bids on it. Do I have a recommendation on which one?
That's my one. I've got a question about it. I don't,
Okay.
we're not showing low bid.
What, Scott, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I may be out.
Well, we've got all the bids laid out here.
Yeah, I mean, like, usually like when you have like diesel and this, that, and other, it shows which one is low bid. This one in the paragraph summary does not indicate the low bid. So are we,
Well, in the past, we have, we've always bid it out, but we've also, am I correct, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this, we've used Pilot Matters, you know, them being local.
Well, many times he's been the low bid straight out.
Well,
There's been times, I think that's why you probably didn't make a
I didn't make
recommendation
a
because left open for discussion.
well, I mean, anybody can vote on it, whatever we want to do, but my point for asking was, we didn't particularly have one that showed low bid, but I would prefer that we spend our money at home.
The bids are on the next page.
Yeah, they're on the next page.
Well, I know, but it, you know, like I say in the summary.
I know what you're saying here. I guess what I'm asking, is a recommendation on which company.
Are these apples to apples? I mean, are they the same across the board?
That appears that.
Workman comp insurance is basically about the same all the way through.
Yeah,
Maybe
if you'll look, I think,
maybe.
think Palmetto's was the second, they weren't the lowest, but they were the second lowest out of the four. I think we had 4 or 5 bids. I just wanted to ask Ms. Bratcher to come here. She deals with them on a daily basis, and I think service, is a lot. I think their board policy states to stay as local when possible, comparable, and I think it's very comparable.
Well, I'll do this then, and we can go on with the sake of discussion, if anybody has any, but I'd like to make a motion that the bid be awarded to Palace.
Well, let's see, Mr. Manning. Oh, Mr. Gordon.
I'll make a motion that we accept Palmetto's.
Oh, okay. You're
I'll
second.
second.
Now we can open this thing up to discussion, if anybody else wants to discuss it.
I realize I'll say this, just for the
Yes.
sake of saying, I mean, number one, I like to spend our money at home when the product is comparable, and I think it's beyond that. And then also what you have to take into consideration, is accessibility when we need to speak to somebody, and that
Absolutely.
is right there. That's my feeling to the board members.
And
Why I feel so strongly about it the way I do.
You're exactly right about that. If we have problems, we know exactly where Powell Meadows is, and if that don't suit you, I know where Mr. Piper lives.
Yeah, I know where it is.
So,
Mr. Joe,
Yes, sir.
how are these payments made? Monthly, quarterly, yearly?
Has the one made,
payments made
they're made annually, aren't they?
annually,
When's this in due again? When will it be due?
July 1st.
and we'll pay it then. Any more discussion?
Thank you for all those efforts.
Why is the first, bid got 3 separate bids? First company?
He actually turned in 3 different, I guess y'all broker it out to different, he turned in 3 separate bids. 2 of his, I think, were actually higher. Isn't that right, Phil, the day of the opening? I can't remember off the top. And then one of them, he had 3 bids. He was 1 representative. 2 of them was higher than Mr. Piper's and 1 was lower. So, it's just from different companies. Represented by the same agent, I guess Bill would say it, wouldn't it?
I took that as kind of brokered out.
How's what?
I took it as kind of being brokered out.
Who's the underwriter then, Mr. Joe? Who will be the underwriter?
We might direct that to Mr. Piper.
Who's the underwriter?
Selective Insurance on this quote.
Selective Insurance?
Selective Insurance.
What state are they out of? Do you know?
Home office in New Jersey.
Any more discussion? We're gonna do this roll call. Mr. Jones.
I've got a little more discussion.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I was still reading over this.
Oh, okay, all right.
I still don't understand the first insurance group. It says three separate bids. Alton's insurance group.
It's the 3 that starred down there. Am I right,
That's just 3
Tracy?
there.
Clear Path Mutual, M-Trust, and Church Mutual.
So that's just a broker that's got 3 different.
Yes.
3 different bids.
Gotcha, okay.
In other words, if we'd been in a truck and you bid about a Chevrolet, a Dodge, and a Ford,
Is everybody clear on it?
That's
Mr. Jones? You okay with it now?
Yes, sir.
Everybody else?
I wouldn't understand, I couldn't find
Yes, sir.
where that group was.
Right,
there, so
right,
and I
right.
haven't been able to since I got here.
Okay, we got a motion, a second. We're gonna do a roll call. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. McCallum?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Glover?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Let's go to item C is a bid approval for janitorial supplies. They're all been listed here, and everybody's had a chance to look at them. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Jones. Any discussion? If I have no discussion, I need a roll call. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. McCallum?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Glover?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Item D, which is approval for the FY22 voluntary pre-K grant for 21-22. Do I have a motion on that one?
So moved.
Mr. Lewis, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor. Any discussion?
What is this, Mr. Director, what is this?
He won't know what this is, Mr. Taylor.
That's saying that we're accepting the money they're giving us for federal money for pre-K programs for 4 schools. By the way, I think they're overflow. We got a lot of,
We have a lot
we
of.
got, wish they'd give us 4 more. We
Is
could,
this COVID money? Is this COVID money?
No.
No.
No, it's a
No.
grant.
it's great. We've had that for several years now, Mr. Taylor.
Okay, this is money, so let's do a roll call on this. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Caleb?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Glover?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Item E is the Board of Education's TSSE membership dues. This comes once a year. To have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? This is money being spent. We'll do a roll call on Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. McCallum,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Manning,
Yes.
Mr. Glover,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Myself, yes. New business F is bid approvals for gasoline fuel. And it looks like that Mixonaller is the one that had the, low bid for 1,200 gallons of gasoline. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
I got, oh, I'm sorry.
Who's second?
I did.
Okay, Mr. Glover. Now, Mr. McCallum.
Do we do an inventory log of where where the gas is used and somebody picks up 20 gallons or?
Yes, there's a log, that log. Yeah, it's got a counter on the meter, just like it does at the gas station. Shows what car it goes in, what number, who got it, who signed up, even down to the mileage. That way the mileage kind of has to,
Why are we
not that
using-
anybody hopefully would, but you know, once you start getting 3 miles a gallon in a car or something, would be off. But we don't run many cars, you know, what we run for school for the blind, and
Why do you think we need it without the ethanol?
why do we what?
Need it without the ethanol?
Because we run our weed eaters and our lawnmowers and our chainsaws out of that same tank, and
Yeah.
it just thinks it's better on our motors.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. McCallum,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Manning,
Yes.
Mr. Glover,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Item G is bid approval for diesel fuel. This request here looks like that TriStar got the bid, low bid for 7,500 gallons of diesel fuel. Do I have a motion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lewis.
Second.
Mr. Taylor. Again, any discussion? If not, roll call. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. McCallum.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mr. Glover.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay, next thing is a discussion. It's evaluation of the director, which this could get serious.
I haven't seen this lately.
We need to take a break.
Yeah, we might want to take, because this could take a while. Okay, each one of you was presented a form for planning goals, public relations and communications, board superintendent relations, and personal evaluation supervision. Oh, excuse me, personnel, I misspoke, personnel. The 81% to 100% is excellent. In planning goals, our director got a 96%. Public relations, you got a 97%. Board superintendent relations, you got a 97%. Personnel evaluation and supervision, you got a 97%, with an average total of 96.75. So, Director, it sounds like everybody's fairly happy with you.
Well, I know y'all think I just say this, but I wouldn't do this if I didn't have people that supported me, and I felt like trying to do the right thing. And you're not always going to agree, and sometimes we get told things, and then we sit down and we figure out but I do think that our board's got a good heart. We got my staff here is fantastic. You've allowed me to build that, and I appreciate that. So I want you to know that it's not because of me, it's because I've got fantastic people surrounded. You've allowed me to do that, and you guys will let me run it, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Anyone else like to speak?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
He probably dreading this anyway. I mean, I didn't receive one with evaluations. I need to give you one. I'm just picking on you a little bit, if you recall. But, you know, I have to say I just want to say about Director Smith, that, you know, we run a massive budget, all of us know, and we're fiscally sound because of the things he does. I mean, that's a grant-getting man I've ever seen in my life. But he keeps us in such a way that we can better provide for our children, as well as all of our employees. And that, you know, right now, nowadays, that's a difficult thing to do. You know, everybody's looking for money. And I would say, you know, that just his attitude and his demeanor towards that, I truly appreciate. I watched my grandfather go through that, watched my uncle go through it. And you know, Director Smith, I appreciate all the effort you put in. If any other board member, I doubt there's anybody on here, but if you have ever not called him, I mean, that man answers his phone. I called him Sunday night at 9 o'clock about a question I had, and we were on the phone a good 30, 40 minutes. I mean, he's accountable, he's reachable, and he keeps us fiscally sound. You know, from my perspective, I don't know a lot more what you could ask for now. Is everybody going to think somebody's perfect? Absolutely not. I'm not, and he's not either. But from the position he's sitting in, you know, I don't know who we could have better count on, to be honest with you. And I appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all, I mean that.
Anybody else?
I'd just like to say thank you, Mr. Smith, for the job you did.
Thank you.
If not, we'll go on to our annual policy review, and I hope you've all had time to look at that. Any questions on policies? Mr. Winkler, do we need to go into executive session? If not,
Mr. Joker,
yes, sir.
could I get put on, I think I did it, but I didn't do it. Can I get put on next month's meeting, something to recognize our veterans every day?
It's in this package.
It's in there.
Yeah, we've done,
Where was it at?
it's in the
Consent items.
consent items.
D.
If you'll look under D,
What day did we set it for? Did it have a date on it?
Yeah, it was a good
I've been looking for it, I couldn't find it.
Send item,
It's on it's on D on the first.
but I don't think there's an exact date.
Yeah, I think it's red.
Marty, what we'll do, we'll get you a schedule. Each school, they'll do a probably different days where people will come to them.
I'm sorry, showed it, I didn't see it.
That's fine, that's
We'll
no
try to
problem.
get you a schedule when it gets
Yeah,
close.
but yeah, that's fine, no problem. Yeah, I just reading, anytime you got a question,
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
I
speak
thought
up now.
it was in there, but I didn't.
yes, yes. Anything from anybody else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Mr. Manning, Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everybody.